This time on The Buzz, two heavyweight powerhouses set a date to rock the Garden.
Hi, I'm Vitali Klitschko.
What's up? I'm Kirk Johnson.
You watch HBO.
The Buzz dropped in on Vitali Klitschko and Kirk Johnson as they met the press to talk up their upcoming fight on December 6th.
I'm ready to fight. Matter of fact, the fight should be tomorrow, but that's okay. I'll wait the time.
Win is very important to keep our dream alive. My brother Vladimir and I want to become as soon as possible our dreams to be world champion in same time.
This highly anticipated matchup brings together two ambitious heavyweights eager to vindicate themselves.
It's my first fight in Madison Square Garden, and I hope it will be a lucky fight for me.
Just expect to see Kirk Johnson at his best.
Last summer, Vitali Klitschko lost a controversial fight against Lennox Lewis by TKO. The loss was a crushing disappointment to Klitschko, who was ahead on points when the fight was halted.
Klitschko, in my eyes, he beat Lewis. So he's the man to beat right now. And for him to be fighting me, that's a wonderful thing.
Ironically, Klitschko's hard-fought battle with Lewis came about after Kirk Johnson was forced to bow out.
June 21st would have been a victorious night for Kirk Johnson. I would have been the man right now, but God kept me back. I had an injury.
Now both of these dangerous boxers feel they have something to prove.
You had your chance at Lewis and did a great job, but now I want my chance at Lewis, so the only way I can get there is to beat this man right here.
There's a lot on the line for both fighters, so we asked them for a prediction.
The bottom line is December 6th is going to be my night.
I want to say to Kirk Johnson, I give my best to beat you.
And be sure to catch Mesi versus Barrett right before Klitschko versus Johnson on HBO World Championship Boxing.
Young, I'm undefeated, I'm very, very motivated. I'm for real, and I'm going to prove that to some of these people in New York.
Coming up next on HBO.
And you've just been buzzed.
It's not TV, it's HBO.
Exhilarating, hard-hitting, unbeatable. HBO Sports. And now, the HBO Sports presentation, World Championship Boxing.
Celebrating 30 years of boxing, the following is a special presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.
For half a decade now, heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis has commanded the spotlight. Now those who chase him must wait as the aging champion ponders his next step. And the questions surrounding Lewis's future have fueled a broad assortment of moods among the men who covet his crown. Vitali Klitschko is anxious. A gaping wound cut short his spirited effort against the champion in June.
He can no longer see. He's fighting on pure heart, Klitschko is now.
Klitschko must win fights now to command the second chance he so desperately wants. Kirk Johnson is frustrated. 6 months ago, Johnson was ready to challenge the champion until injury on the eve of the fight dashed his hopes.
June 21st would have been a victorious night for Kirk Johnson. I would have been the man right now.
Left to wonder what might have been, tonight Johnson takes out his frustrations on Klitschko in an attempt to prove he, and not Vitali, is the rightful heir to the throne. Joe Mesi is as patient as can be. Undefeated in 27 professional fights, Mesi's steady climb through the heavyweight ranks drew heat after a devastating knockout of Navarro Williamson in September.
They call it star quality, and Joe Mesi has just provided a bundle of it for the heavyweight division.
Tonight, the journey continues against New Yorker Monte Barrett. Heavyweights take center stage as big-time boxing returns to the world's most famous arena. Will a legitimate title contender emerge, or will the mystery deepen? The answer is next.
first time in 2003, HBO Sports celebrates 30 years of boxing coverage, building legends one round at a time. Tonight, we're in Madison Square Garden in New York City for a heavyweight doubleheader. First up, rising sensation baby Joe Mesi faces Monte Barrett, possibly the toughest test of Mesi's skyrocketing career. Then, Vitaly Klitschko, coming off his brave showing against Lennox Lewis, takes on legitimate contender Kirk Johnson. It's been more than 2 years since we've been in the big arena here at Madison Square Garden. Hopkins, Trinidad. Back then, in September 2001, the world was reeling from the after effects of 9/11. Now we're here under much different circumstances. The focus tonight on boxing and on who may emerge as contenders for the heavyweight throne. We expect to see two men's stock rise and perhaps two fall tonight in the race to succeed Lennox Lewis. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this special edition of World Championship Boxing, which will cap off an eventful year of boxing here on HBO in 2003. There's always special excitement when we have heavyweights on the card. There's always special excitement when we're in Madison Square Garden. So let's get to it. Working with me, as always, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, as the opening tease suggested, Lennox Lewis is either retired or perhaps will take one more fight before retirement. So how and through what process will a new legitimate champion emerge in the post-Lewis heavyweight landscape?
From the usual assortment of prospects and suspects, but there are some serious prospects afoot right now. Rockman and Tua are still with us. Rockman fighting John Ruiz next week. Klitschko, if he wins tonight, could face Sanders, who defeated his younger brother Vladimir, for a vacant title if Lewis retires. Among the little big guys, Bird is the Pernell Whitaker of the division. Tony has leaped into prominence with his victory over Holyfield and now is going to face the 260-plus pound Jameel McCline. Roy Jones wants one more mega fight and out. The prospects, Vladimir Klitschko, still the youngest, still the most promising at 27. Dominic Gwynn of Arkansas and Mesi are co-equals as among the best young American heavyweights to come along in a while. The heavyweight division periodically goes through this sort of transition, and inevitably, someone comes out of it sooner or later. Sooner, we hope.
Yeah, that's right. Right now, a lot of guys standing at the velvet rope, and it remains to be seen who's going to be allowed into the inner circle. One man who made it in twice, winning the heavyweight championship through two vastly different routes, Big George Foreman. George, either Mesi or Vitaly Klitschko could become the real thing in the heavyweight division. They both already have big public followings. What must either or both men show you tonight to stamp themselves as the one?
Fight out of adversity. Rocky Marciano, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, when you knock them down, when you beat them up, break their jaw, they started to fight. We're looking for someone who can just get up off the canvas and show us you don't need any protection. That's what we want.
And we start with one of the most colorful personal stories in the sport. Boxing is a sport with many father-son sagas. We have covered many of them over the years. None more colorful and dynamic than the two-man pairing which has brought Joe Mesi to unlikely heavyweight prominence. Joe Mesi is momentarily the most crowd-pleasing heavyweight on the planet. Armed with a thundering right hand, a disarming smile, and a charismatic personality. But behind the story of Mesi's rise in the heavyweight ranks, there lies a tale of family tragedy and personal loss, as well as inspiration and bonding between a father and a son.
I believe that everything happens for a reason. You have to learn from everything, and you have to get stronger from every event, whether they're losses or gains.
Mesi grew up in a small suburb outside Buffalo, New York. Though his grandfather, uncle, and brother were all boxers, Mesi didn't step into a boxing gym until the relatively late age of 21.
I never ever imagined myself being a boxer. You know, when I originally went to the gym, it wasn't in the intention to become a world champion, to be turned professional. I went there purely for the love of the sport, to maybe see what my grandfather and my uncle had experienced, and maybe at that time, most importantly, to kind of maybe lose some weight and get into shape.
Joe lost almost 60 pounds.
realized he had a knack for fighting. But his parents, Jack and Barbara Mesi, had never envisioned Joe as a boxer. And at first, Barbara tried to head off her son's passion for the sport.
She was never really thrilled about me boxing, me fighting, always worried about me getting hurt, but she was my biggest supporter at the same time.
Well, my wife was more of the academic, and her wish for Joe was to become a lawyer.
She used to always tell me, quit that boxing, go to law school, I want you to be a lawyer.
But Joe kept boxing, calling on a fighting spirit he must have inherited from his mother, who fought her own ongoing battle with lupus, an autoimmune disease that prompts the immune system to attack the body.
She fought for 15 or 20 years with lupus disease, and she was as tough as they come, and I draw inspiration from that.
After the fights, because of her illness, she would literally be in bed for 2 and 3 days recovering from the stress of the fight.
I think maybe when she knew she wasn't going to be around much longer, told me, be careful not to get hurt. I assured her that nothing bad was going to happen to me in the ring. Don't worry about me because I'm going to be safe and I'm in good hands.
In November of 2000, Jack and Joe watched as Barbara finally lost her fight with lupus. Their father-son relationship since then has deepened.
When you're one less parent, you know, it's one less person to rely on, and I drew closer to him. We've always been close, but that's the one parent figure I have left, and we are as close as can be.
Today, Jack manages Joe's career with the fervor only a father can supply, as he looks to catapult Joe into the upper echelon of the heavyweight division.
I'm sometimes criticized for being controlling, but my whole purpose in doing this is to protect Joe and get him to the title.
He is the reason that I think I'm the biggest ticket seller in the sport that does not hold a world title. He's a marketing genius.
Known as Buffalo's third franchise to go along with the Bills and the Sabres, Mesi admits giant crowds that come to his fights surprise him.
It's crazy, and I never thought it would get like this. I'm an athlete that was born here, raised here, educated here, and plan on becoming heavyweight champion of the world and continuing to live here. And I think they appreciate that.
As Joe's boxing skills sell out arenas, Jack tries to steer him into a title shot. Both men agree there's something much bigger in their lives.
It's just father-son, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never is a business to us.
Someday when I'm an old man rocking in a rocking chair, I hope he'll get me my orange juice. And that's where we're going. It's way beyond boxing. We're going into way beyond boxing.
We tell each other everything. We do everything together. We're inseparable. He's, again, an inspiration and a big part of where we are.
Joe Mesi's had a spectacular year. 3 fights, 3 knockouts, a total of 4 rounds. Tonight, he fights an opponent with vast experience going the distance. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape now for baby Joe Mesi against New Yorker Monte Barrett. And you can see that Barrett at 32 is 2 years older than Mesi. He's also 2 inches taller. The arm length advantage, surprisingly, 1.5 inches, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, goes to Mesi, and he outweighs Barrett, whom he met as amateurs several years ago, by 22.5 pounds. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The baby Joe Mesi Monte Barrett fight is scheduled for 10 rounds using the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The doctor or the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 10th and final round. Jim.
First to enter will be Monte Barrett, the former high school football star from Queens. Had an excellent start to his career. Ultimately came a cropper twice, but only against fighters half a head taller, or half a foot, I should say, taller than Mesi. Vladimir Klitschko, 6'7", and Lance Whitaker, 6'8", against fighters Mesi size. Barrett's unbeaten, and 9 times in his career, Larry, he's gone either 10 or 12 rounds, something Joe Mesi has yet to do.
Well, Mesi has not even completed 9 rounds, which will give you an idea of what Barrett may try to do tonight. to extend Mesi.
He's had a rough year and a half. His jewels were robbed. His stocks went down. He lost a lot of money. He says he's more motivated than ever now to try to get into the inner circle of heavyweight contenders.
The world fighting, but once you say you're in Madison Square Garden, it takes a lot out of you. In that dressing room, you can melt. And for tonight, from Boone Kurtman to Buster Mathis, I've seen them all fold because of the dressing room in Madison Square Garden.
And that question applies really more to Joe Mesi tonight than it does to Monte Barrett. Barrett has been in this building. Mesi has been fighting most of his major triumphs in the cocoon of Buffalo, where he is totally idolized.
You don't get used to it, though. You don't get used to it.
Well, we shall see what happens to Baby Joe tonight. In his last appearance against DeVarrow Williamson in Buffalo, with the spotlight of the nation on him for the first time, he performed spectacularly, knocking Williamson out in the first round.
Cruz made a comment, Jim, at the time. He's proven that he's too good for the minor leagues. We don't know if he's good enough for the major leagues. I think tonight we may find out if there is a spot in the lineup for him. But if not, whether he's a cleanup hitter or not.
How confident is he? Yesterday we said to Joe Mesi, well, what do you think Barrett might be thinking tactically? Mesi looked at us and said, I don't know what Monty's thinking, but I'm thinking he's in trouble. We're thinking right now we're going to go up to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the pre-fight introductions. Oh. And now I'm told that Jimmy Lennon isn't quite ready to do the pre-fight introduction, so you get a fuller look at Mesi as he steps into the ring, looking calm and collected, as was the case yesterday. And now Jimmy Lennon moves to the center of the ring, and we are ready for the pre-fight intros. Let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, here in New York City. We have a big night of action in store for you, and it's all brought to you by Duva Boxing and Vitaly Klitschko's promoter, Universum Box Promotions, in association with the undisputed king of beers, Budweiser, Bets.com, and Pacific Entertainment Group. This bout coming away also provided courtesy of Tony Holden Productions. Introducing to you our judges scoring the bout from ringside, from Floral Park, New York, Joe Dwyer. From Garden City, New York, Arthur Mercanti Sr., and from Albany, New York, Tom Schreck. Our third man of the ring, the referee in charge of the action, we have Mike Ortega. All right, fans, here we go with a 10-round heavyweight special attraction. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks, fighting out of and representing his hometown of Queens, New York. He weighed in at a ready 215 pounds. His fine record stands at 29 wins, 2 losses, 16 wins, coming by way of knockout. Introducing Monte, Two Guns Barrett. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner in this 10-round special attraction, wearing blue trunks with white trim, fighting out of his home of Buffalo, New York. He weighed in at 237.5 pounds, a highly decorated amateur champion, undefeated in his campaign in the professional ranks, with a record of 27 wins, no losses, 25 big wins coming by way of knockout, ranked the number 4 heavyweight in the world by the WBC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the hard-hitting and undefeated Baby Joe Mesi. And once again, in charge, Mike Ortega, and now to give instructions, 10 rounds of boxing schedule.
Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules. I want a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Joe Mesi's father, Jack, says that in the kind of blizzard conditions we have outside the garden, they grow flowers in Buffalo. We want to know if they grow heavyweights as well.
Mesi's last 2 fights have produced first-round knockouts. That seems unlikely against Barrett. But Barrett himself says, I don't think it'll be a long fight. I'm going to knock Mesi out. You wonder why Barrett would be thinking that way, given his on-the-record advantages in having gone the distance and understanding how to finish fights.
Baby Joe doesn't have any experience going a long distance. This is not the night to try to go and get some experience. If you can punch, do it.
Barrett said that when he sparred with Mesi in the amateurs many years ago, the one thing he remembers is Mesi's punches have pop. Barrett said he's one of those guys with heavy hands.
Mesi's better get ready to hold on. Don't be ashamed if you get hurt to hold on. Barrett's got the long reach. He's not using his jab when he should be.
Barrett content to stand at his distance. Mesi looking for ways to get in, and he lands a right cross right on the button.
When you're fighting a puncher, you're always supposed to be doing something if there's no more than just moving out of the way. Don't let him sit and think about his power.
Barrett tried for the big right cross himself. Now has thrown 3 straight right hands. Mesi taking 1 and ducking 2. Another hard right hand over the top by Barrett. Mesi seems unaffected.
Barrett's trying to mix up power, which is not a good idea.
He's countering Mesi's jab with his right cross and landing it.
Mesi's been going to the body. Barrett wisely waiting for that to happen and come over with his right hand.
Now Barrett throwing a hard left hook. Looks as though he's not interested in a boxing match here. Wants to slug it out with Joe Mesi.
Step out clean.
If you got a good long left jab and a good snapping right hand, why go out and fight a guy? And that's what Barrett is doing. He's trying to match power with a puncher.
Mesi gets inside, gets a chance to land. Backs Barrett up with a left hand.
And I think he dazed Barrett momentarily at least.
Another left hook lands for Mesi. This time he led with it.
Work out here. Let's go.
When you got a good strong jab, you can really bust a guy up. And Barrett may be doing that with Baby Joe as the fight go on, popping him with that jab to swell his eyes up.
Mesi's trying for another first-round knockout to go with the 2 that he's already racked up this year. They're going to trade some leather. Another left hook lands for Barrett. Mesi lands a left hook in return. Barrett leads with the right hand to end the round.
A good round, especially for Mesi.
Water. Listen, lay back. Listen, Joe. Come on, relax. Relax. You're trying it too hard, right? You're trying too hard. Now, when you use the jab a little more now, right? Can you do it?
You got it in jab in his fucking chest. Get in jab. A good stick jab. You ain't jabbing, you're bullshitting.
Jab this guy.
Get the fucking
jab. This is the fight now, man. This is a fight. This is what you trained 6 weeks for in the gym. Do what you've been working on, man.
Mesi doing damage with his overhand right, but especially with that left hook.
Right there.
Classic left hook, follows through with his shoulders.
CompuBox numbers in round 1. Mesi 18 out of 57, Barrett 6 out of 30. You listen to the talk in Barrett's corner and it's clear they want him to box. He trained to box. They expected him to go in and jab and move. He didn't do it.
Now for Baby Joe Mesi, his corner should just refresh him when that bell rings. Don't talk too much. Just keep your puncher refreshed. He needs his power.
Good left inside by Barrett.
Barrett is holding, which is good advice. Good strategy. Hold on when you can't do anything else.
The interesting equation you saw on the tail of the tape. Barrett is taller. Mesi has the longer arms. And there you see that Mesi is able to land with his jab from the outside.
It's interesting, Jim. In his street clothes, Mesi does not present a picture of a powerful-looking guy. When you see him in trunks, you know, he looks like a linebacker.
Corner is uppercut by Barrett, 2 in a row.
2 uppercuts. That's what you want a puncher, to get a guy to start punching you back so you can mix it up with him. And I think that works for Baby Joe.
Baby Joe Mesi said a fascinating thing about Monte Barrett yesterday.
Barrett was staggered by a right
Barrett
hand.
with a right hand.
You want a guy to start hitting you so he can get confidence that he can punch with you. And that's what Barrett did. You got to box the puncher.
Joe Mesi said an interesting thing about Barrett yesterday. He said, if you want to see the best of Monte Barrett, go after him and fight him. He said Barrett's the kind of fighter that if you fight him, you'll bring out the fight in him. If you stand back and try to box him, he'll loaf.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Mesi wants to go fight him anyway.
Barrett tastes some of that power now. He's going to have to do some mighty good thinking to stay out of trouble. The referee is not going to help you, Barrett.
Swelling outside the left eye of Monte Barrett. Just a little mouse, maybe from a Mesi right hand. Mesi catches him with a little left hook again.
Mesi doesn't have the best left jab, so he best stay away from the jabbing contest.
I would be surprised if Barrett's legs feels like he just drank 3 dry martinis.
Good body shot by Mesi. Set up a little left hand inside. Barrett with a hard right hand uppercut.
Now, all of that punching that Barrett does works against him because you're playing right in the hand of a puncher. Got to throw combinations and move.
Right. No. Step back clean. Step back clean. Stay off the top of him, okay? Don't push him down like that. Let's go. Hey. Step back. Let him out. Let him out.
In the first 2 rounds, Monte Barrett seems to have fought more out of pride and stubbornness than ring intelligence. We'll see where it goes from here. Meanwhile, next Thursday, HBO Latino's Poseo de Oro returns with Mike Enchando versus Gregorio Vargas. Next Saturday, pay-per-view, 5 title fights featuring Ricardo Mayorga, Bernard Hopkins, Hasim Rahman against John Ruiz. January 24, live on HBO, Arturo Gatti back in action facing Gianluca Branco. January 31, Boxing After Dark, Antonio Margarito, one of the welterweight titleists, against Hercules Clivelos, plus Rafael Marquez against Pete Fresina. HBO, building legends, 1 round at a time.
Swallow. You hear what I'm telling you, Monty?
Breathe in. Let go, Bobby. Go to finish him, motherfucker. And I send it to you with a jab. Stick the jab.
If Barrett wasn't in the good condition he appears to be in, he might not have survived the first 2 rounds.
But in the second round, one CompuBox number is interesting. Barrett landing nearly half of his power shots, 8 of 17. Mesi also landing 8 power shots. He threw 27. Again, as you pointed out, George, Barrett wants to punch with a puncher.
Now he's gotten a little scared, Barrett has, which will make for a better boxing match for him. Fear makes you box. Mesi's corner's got to be careful. Just let the man know he's not getting into good power shots because his opponent is too tall. Don't get discouraged.
Don't hold him like that. Don't grab him.
Barrett has kept his head.
Hook by Mesi.
Kept his head really high. It's hard to get in a good punch.
Let him out. Step back.
Sometimes young fighters think, oh, I can't do it.
Right hand to the chest for Mesi.
Let him out.
Crowd oohs and ahs when Mesi lands because he commits so much to his power punches. Big left hook by Barrett. Mesi takes it well.
And that's discouraging to a boxer when he starts missing the puncher.
Mesi willing to take a little leather to try to get inside and hack away at Barrett now. Barrett missing over the top of the right hand. Mesi clips him with the left inside.
Barrett keeps leaning on that left hook, which is not smart. Mesi can hit with that left hook.
What do you mean when you say Barrett's leaning on it?
Yeah, he's throwing too many left hooks. He's going to get caught in the exchange. Don't hook a hooker.
From what we've seen, I think the left hook is Mesi's best punch.
And Mesi can take you out with a hook, so you don't want to get in a hooking battle. Keep it to the jab and right hand.
Wait, let him out, let him out. Hold him.
Boy, you know he can take it out of a puncher when a big guy leans on his neck like Barrett is doing.
Barrett clips Mesi with the right hand. Left hook, glancing blow.
Step back.
Solid left hook by Mesi to the body. Misses with the right hand upstairs. And now blood from the left eye of Monte Barrett. And a little grin on Mesi's face as he sees the blood emerging.
Sit down, sit down.
Monte Barrett's cut man is Jimmy Glenn. Outstanding trainer and cut man who'll do a good job.
Here's that right hand. Whoa. Talking about, we've often talked about fighters who punch from the back seat. They're always moving away from a punch. He's punching so far into the front seat, he's almost on the hood.
Listen, now. It's ugly. Start working with the uppercut, yo, right?
You heard Mesi's trainer Juan De Leon, brother of a former cruiserweight champion who was popular around this area.
Also, former 130-pound world champion Tracy Harris Patterson, son of Floyd Patterson, assisting in Monte Barrett's corner. Harold, how do you have it through three?
Okay, Jim, not so terribly hard to score. 3 rounds to nothing, 30-27, baby Joe Mesi. Jim, I gotta tell you something. Monte Barrett just can't seem to get into a rhythm. Obviously, what he's trying to do is to drop the right hand down on Joe Mesi, and he's been missing him by a mile. So, good defense by Joe Mesi, good offense, good pressure by Joe Mesi, and landing the cleaner, harder shots.
I like what Mesi is doing. He's charged in a few rounds. Now he's taking a break. Balance. Get back. Get your reserves back up for your punching power. Very few punchers know how to do that.
Mesi may feel that, just as Harold Letterman suggested, he's won the first 3 rounds. So he's got a cushion and can now begin to think a little bit more strategically about how to go about what comes next.
Well, in addition to that, Barrett is being more defensive now.
Jimmy Glenn stopped the bleeding in Monte Barrett's left eye. Mesi lands a right.
Let him out, let him out. Step back.
Their heads collided again.
Let's go, work out. Come on, break. Step back, step back, step back. Let's go.
Mesi has been the aggressor
Let's go, come on.
since the opening minutes of the first round.
Hard to imagine he'll ever fight any other way than that. Missing again with the right, but lands a left hook. Mesi ducking the right that came behind it.
Has that right hand that Mesi's been trying to get in there. Barrett better be careful.
Barrett wings his right hand from the outside. Mesi throws his straight up the middle.
Whenever Barrett gets on the ropes, he drops his hand instinctively. This is the time that Mesi want to get him. You're going to have to jump on him right as soon as his back touches the rope.
Quick left hook by Joe Mesi to punctuate round 4. Meanwhile, Vitaly Klitschko warming up in his dressing room, hoping to make a big show tonight to galvanize public support for the idea of another challenge against Lennox Lewis, a big pay-per-view date that might mark the end of Lewis's career. That's where Vitaly wants to be after his date with Kirk Johnson tonight. Johnson says, hey, I'm the guy who ought to be fighting Lewis. If I'd gotten my chance to fight him in June, I'd have knocked him out in 4 rounds.
Hell with that, man. Your children, man. All right? This guy here came to take food up.
In round 3, Mesi landed that punch on the eye, and that was followed by this collision. Hard to tell which one of those blows caused the cut over Barrett's left eye.
They're fighting at a pedestrian pace. Mesi threw 39 punches in the 4th round. Barrett threw 41. Heavyweights often fight at about that rate of punch output, though sometimes up to 50 or 60. Mesi in particular has been more active than that in some previous fights. But he's taken his time against Monte Barrett.
Barrett he doesn't mind extending this fight. He's not looking for a quick knockout. Mesi's better beware of that. Time your punches, plan your work, and work a plan.
Barrett with the right hand, and Mesi lands his. The ropes kept Barrett from hitting the canvas, but it's a legitimate knockdown for Mesi. And we told you, Barrett wings his right from the outside. Mesi comes right up the middle. That means Baby Joe gets there first.
Now it's evident that the Baby Joe can punch.
Now Barrett wants to try to even it up right away as he gets aggressive again.
Got to be careful. Archie Moore says sometimes when these guys are hurt, they can do more damage to you. You'll wake them up and they'll hurt you. A finisher, hard to see.
Well, he's not being reckless.
Barrett has turned southpaw on him to make it more difficult. He's turned put his right foot in front of it.
Yep, southpaw stance for Barrett.
He's a survivor. That's what Barrett is.
Watch the backhand.
Now Massey's got to understand to lead with your right, then come back with your hook.
In 31 previous fights, Monte Barrett has been knocked out once. That was by Vladimir Klitschko, who knocked him down 5 times. Interestingly, Mesi said, you know, that was Monte's best performance because he fought with heart. He kept coming at Vladimir. He tried as hard as he could.
Evidently, Massey's corner scouted Barrett, but didn't put this part in that he's a southpaw.
Yeah, because Baby Joe has been hesitant ever since Barrett went into the southpaw stance.
Mesi has got to understand now, you got to lead with your right.
Not many southpaws in the heavyweight division, so fighters like Mesi don't have all that much experience facing a guy who stands this way.
If Mesi can just lead with that right hand and come back with a hook, he can get him in the same position.
Remember, there's only been one southpaw heavyweight champion in history, and Michael Ortega is going to rule that a slip, not a knockdown. Barrett's looking at Mesi as if to say, see, I knocked you down just like you knocked me down, but it's ruled a slip or a push.
But Mesi was throwing combinations, which is good. Lost his balance.
All right, Joe. You know what? Lean that. Now.
Barrett got a little bit aggressive. Right hand straight over the jab. And what was impressive to me there, George, was it almost looked like the jab started first, and yet Mesi beat him to the punch.
All night he's been waiting to get range for that right hand. Finally, Barrett was low enough to receive
Get
it.
him, double it then.
He's been too tall all night.
If you don't reach him with the first one, you'll reach him with the second one.
And then you get to me, hit him one punch, you don't throw no more. You gotta come up and throw some punches sharp. This nigga hitting the fucking match.
Libre. Straight your leg. Be careful on one you get hit with a hook.
In that corner.
Barrett's trainer in the corner there, the old guy, Al Davis, 89.
Step back.
And clears the bell, incidentally.
Yeah, fought in the early 30s.
Calls Barrett pig-headed. And Barrett says, oh, he calls me worse than that.
Pig-headed because his intuition is to fight even when he should be boxing.
Such as tonight.
But you are who you are.
Well, Barrett was a big-time football player in high school.
Now Mesi is trying to be a counterpuncher. You don't want to do that. Just go on and take lead to the fight.
Barrett back in the conventional stance after finishing the last round standing with the other foot forward. Right hand lands for Barrett. Second one short. Now Mesi says, okay, let's trade. I'll show you my right hand.
Barrett doing some boxing now. Jab, get out of the way. Jab, get out of the way.
Yeah, but I think Barrett has now decided that he's got to do some damage because he's way behind in this fight. And he's not going to win it by boxing.
Mesi is starting to move away a little bit. You don't want to chase Mesi. That's one thing, you run into something heavy. If he moves away from you, you just stand your ground if you're Barrett.
And let him go.
Let him come back.
Barrett misses over the top of the right hand. Mesi gets in a little left to the body.
What surprises me that Mesi is able to weave away from so many shots. Real instinctively, he got a little bob and weave there.
Now Mesi's head stays still for a moment. Barrett pops him with the jab. Mesi ducks a couple, tries a left inside, and lands the right from distance.
Let him out, break, step back, step back.
Mesi's been doing all the fighting, so you really hope that his corner can refresh him.
The big right hand. Barrett tries to shake it off.
It didn't land quite flush, and I think he had a slightly open glove when that landed.
Now you got to go back and say to yourself, I've knocked him down with a straight right hand. I've hurt him with another one. Go back to what's getting you over. He's hurt now, Barrett.
He just hurt him with another right hand.
Yeah, that was a punch around the ear that seemed to
Barrett walked into.
Affect his equilibrium.
You got to stick to what's doing good tonight.
Hit him with
right hands are doing it. Oh,
round again. Down. Mesi with a right hand barrage to end the sixth. 4 rounds left in the fight. Joe Mesi perhaps headed toward going the distance for the first time in his career, but with a hefty lead on the scorecard.
Okay, round 7 coming up.
Where are you from?
Oh, Queens.
Okay, good. Raise your left hand now. Beautiful. Okay.
Monte, you're getting hit because you're pulling out.
You ain't fighting doctors.
Sit in there.
Round 7.
Give me some water.
Yeah, you got to fight. Does he got enough for you to fight?
Yeah.
Then let it go. It's 7 rounds.
He's counting my jab.
Counting my ass.
Then double it then.
The man is tired too. If you get them fight like you're supposed to fight, the fight's
Hold
over.
on, hold on. Deep breaths.
If you fight like you're supposed to fight, the fight's over. Doing combination.
You got it too far. Listen, little, keep your hands up, move a little more. Little more, listen, and hit this motherfucker with a hook.
There's the right hand once again. That time as he was coming in, it seemed to clinch. He thought he might as well throw a punch, and it landed. You see him amused.
Joe Mesi goes to
George
the
by Al Davis.
Yeah, because his fighter told him he's countering my left jab.
Now Mesi goes down on a right hand by Barrett.
4.
As Mesi gets over aggressive and makes a mistake.
7,
First time in Mesi's career that he's gone to the canvas. So
Well,
Monte
George,
Barrett produces something.
George, you said before the fight you want to see whether guys can deal with adversity.
That's what we want to look for today. Not protected fighters. Can a heavyweight get up off the canvas and show you his stuff?
Well, both of them have gotten up now.
And like Barrett did after the first knockdown, Mesi's trying to show that there are no ill effects. Meanwhile, Barrett clipsing the hand with a left and a right. Mesi's getting a look of frustration on his face, like, why am I making these mistakes?
There's some swelling over Mesi's eye that's causing him a little confusion.
Left eye, product of Barrett's right hands.
He also looks a little winded, or maybe that's just an illusion. His mouth is open. He hasn't gone this far in a fight in a few years, I think.
This is the 4th time in his career that he's gone to the 7th round. He's been 7 rounds once, 8 rounds once, part of 9 rounds another time.
Break, step back.
And now this.
Watch your heads inside, watch your heads.
Well, he's knocked the guy down, hurt him a few times. You get out there and you think, I got him now, and you get caught. It happens every time.
That's called the heavyweight division, right?
Right, and in Madison Square Garden, this happened to me once. I thought, surely I'm going to win. And there I am holding on myself.
Now Barrett is beginning to dominate this round as he hammers Mesi with a good hard left to the body.
I'm out, break. Step back. Box.
Now Mesi is shucking and jiving. Don't do that. Don't give your opponent any courage like that. Don't shuck and jive with him if you're Mesi. Barrett is just fighting the way you want to fight now.
Barrett's trying to end the fight with one big right hand. Comes back with a left hook and flips Mesi with that. Been a huge 7th round for Barrett. Now Mesi tries to even the score just a little bit in this round.
This is the toughest round of Mesi's career.
Barrett's using the uppercuts now. Uppercut.
And Mesi fighting back. Backs Barrett up with a big left hand. Crowd responds.
In the big house, you got to fight back.
A lot of Buffalonians made the trip down from Buffalo to see their guy. Their voices prominent in the crowd in Madison Square Garden. Barrett in a corner. Mesi's talking. 7th round comes to an end. Baby Joe Mesi was knocked down for the first time in his career.
Listen, Joe. Listen. You're trying too hard. I want you to start using your jab.
Okay.
We're going for round 8 now. All right?
8th round.
8th round now. Got it?
Box this guy for
Box this round. Box this round. Move.
Box this guy for a round.
Deep breath. Stretch your leg. Yeah. Listen, and when you get hit hard, you get hard. Don't try to play hard. Move.
Coming in with a left hook, walking into a short left hand by Monte Barrett.
Not much because he ran into it. That's what makes it even harder.
Yep.
Well, Barrett's walked into a couple of punches. Now Mesi walked into one. Turnabout is fair play.
Barrett's got to go for a knockout.
Round 8 of the scheduled 10. Harold, how do you have it coming into the 8th?
Okay, Jim. 68-63, 6 rounds to 1, baby Joe Mesi. Monte Barrett may have run out of rounds. He may need a knockout to win this fight. You got to give baby Joe Mesi an extra point for knocking Monte Barrett off his feet in round 5. Give Monte Barrett an extra point for knocking Joe Mesi off his feet in round 7. 6-1, Mesi.
Barrett's better go for the knockout. You don't want to get Mesi's courage back up again. You took it away from him, keep it away.
Hard right hand by Barrett. Swinging for the fences now. He knows he needs to go for a knockout. And of course, as Barrett opens up, he'll create opportunities for Mesi to try to retaliate with power punches.
Mesi's got that swelling over the left eye. That's bothering him. Maybe he's never been in that position before. But you don't want to let Barrett get his courage up. Barrett, make him move backwards if you're Mesi.
Meanwhile, Mesi continues to back up and allow Barrett to come forward. And with each step forward, Barrett's confidence is slightly reinforced. The Mesi contingent in the crowd, nervous, audibly.
See, Mesi did not go to the body enough.
There's a good right hand by Mesi.
First rule of a puncher, go to the body. In case the guy gets stronger, he's too weak to knock you out. Mesi didn't go to the body.
Monte Barrett of Queens trying to pull off a hometown upset of Buffalo's Joe Mesi.
He's called Baby Joe Mesi, but skeptics in Buffalo have said he's been babied Joe Mesi. You can't say he's been babied anymore.
And Mesi walked into a Barrett right hand. And once again seems slightly stunned. Barrett landed another big left. Mesi's left eye is closing up.
That's going to be the thing tonight. Can his corner keep that eye open?
Well, he's got one of the 2 or 3 best cutmen in the sport in Al Gavin working in his corner. That eye's not cut, it's swollen.
Barrett's got a cut, and his corner closed it up real good for him.
Jimmy Glenn did a great job, as we said he would. They fought 8 of a scheduled 10. Meanwhile, Kirk Johnson warms up in his locker room. 2 weeks before June 21, Kirk Johnson had to drop out of his scheduled fight with Lennox Lewis because of a torn pectoral muscle. He says he thought he was over the disappointment until he watched Vitaly Klitschko flirt with the chance to become heavyweight champ against Lewis. It sent him into depression, thinking of what might have been.
You know how to work, lose. Right? Keep your hands up, move your hand out, right? Time to what? To stick and move. Not too far. Start working with the right hand. He comes with the right hand, chin down, sit down, and we're gonna bang down the motherfucking dust around. Come on.
Yeah, show me. Yo, you got him. You heard him. Hit him to the body.
Check us out. Let's go.
Left hand to the body. Set that right hand up. Hit him in the body.
It's overhand right by Barrett, high on the forehead. Barrett is not a strong puncher. That's why he's gone the distance so much. But he's a good enough puncher that if you walk into a punch, you'll feel it.
And he's proven Mesi's point that he'll fight best when somebody fights hard against him. Mesi fought hard against Barrett. He's brought out the fight in Barrett. In the last round, the 8th, Mesi only threw 27 punches by CompuBox count, landing only 4. Barrett, 13 out of 38, easily, it seems, winning the round. The judges are all from New York State. Joe Dwyer, the famous Arthur McCanty Sr., and Tom Schreck.
Barrett had his man out of it. Now he's moving away and giving Mesi more courage. Could have gotten a knockout if he really pursued it. Barrett could have. Now Mesi's got his courage and his power. Of course, he keeps the power.
Barrett lands a left hook. Mesi's been much more self-protective since the knockdown, throwing fewer punches, backing away more, trying to stay out of harm's way, but still getting harmed more than he's harming Barrett.
Boy, when you've never gone 10 rounds and you start watching the ring people go by with those numbers that you've never seen before, 8, 9, 10, it's frightening for a puncher, I can tell you that.
If they go to the final bell in this round, it'll be further than Joe Mesi's ever gone in a fight. Mesi better hope his lead on the scorecards was as solid as Harold Letterman makes it.
Barrett seems not to have any fear at all.
There's been a role reversal in this fight, which started out with Barrett as the boxer and Mesi as the aggressor. And Mesi's doing pretty well, actually, in this boxing mode. So he does have versatility.
But look and see, number 9, number 10, boy, that's scary, because you wonder about yourself.
Mesi shoots a right hand and lands it. He seems to have steadied himself a bit here in the ninth.
I remember the first time I saw that green card saying number 9, boy, was I afraid.
The left eye is Mesi's lead eye, George. Can he see Barrett's right hand coming?
Well, so far he can probably see, but it's going to get worse.
Well, he's only got 3 minutes, 21 seconds to go in the fight. So how much worse can it get?
He's got to take the aggression, though. Mesi got to get out there and show the world that he's the top boy. It'll be a victory for Barrett just to survive.
What would you tell Baby Joe going into the tent? Go fight him or stay away?
Go fight him. Go fight him. We need a champion now, a guy who can get up and win the 10th round.
Got to pay off right now. It's got to pay off. You got to go out there.
Every time you hit this man with a hook, the man goes running and falling down. You don't do nothing. You stand up and look at him.
Double that left
You're
hand.
acting like you're scared, and I'm telling you the motherfucking truth. That's what you're acting like. You're not fighting.
When you get out.
Throw your jab and walk into the book. Just keep the jab and hit him. He's trying to hit you with the right hand. That's all the hell he's got. Come on, Joe. You're a better fighter than this.
Hey, show me. Come on. All right?
More water.
No, the towel.
Shorten them up on inside. Shorten them up. And double that left hand up.
That was Al Gavin, the cut man, who said to Mesi, come on, Joe, you're a better fighter than this. He still threw only 32 punches in the 9th round, allowing Barrett to throw 40. George Foreman said it. Joe Mesi needs to fight and win the 10th round.
Barrett had this man on the hook, could have knocked him out in the 8th round, and he backed away from the fight.
Joe Mesi has not fought in a fight that went to the judges in more than 5 years. October of '98, a 4-rounder. That was the last time he went the distance. Barrett's fighting now the way Al Davis asked him to. And the crowd is beginning to back the local fighter.
And Mesi held on. That's smart now. Most guys who are punchers don't even have those instincts. Hold on. Try to get you one good shot in there.
Break, step back, break. Let's go, box.
If any of the judges gave some early rounds to Barrett, this could conceivably be close. Hard right hand by Mesi.
And he did it by boxing.
No, get off his neck. Go, get out of here.
Mesi goes home and studied his film. If this fight is open, he doesn't lose by knockout, he can always say, I can box too.
Big right hand by Mesi.
Barrett is hurt.
Wobbles Barrett again.
Push him down.
Finish strong if you're Barrett. Don't give up trying to get a knockout if you're Barrett.
Crowd rising for both fighters. Both fighters looking for a knockout shot. Mesi demonstrating now that he's genuinely bothered by that swollen left eye.
And he's starting to lead in with his jab, throw punches.
Work out. Let's go. Let him out, Joe.
Thing about Barrett, you need to get aggressive, but when he does, Mesi hits him hard.
Which tends to discourage you a little bit, George.
When someone he's chasing a guy around and he hits you.
It's been a close round so far, and it could be meaningful on the scorecards. Whatever happens in the last 30 seconds of the fight could conceivably be significant.
Barrett just seems to think he's too far ahead on points for some reason. He's not throwing enough punches to get it done. Now he's throwing power punches.
Mesi's 2 right hands were the biggest punches of this round so far, but Barrett's throwing more. Mesi seems staggered. Barrett lands a right hand.
Barrett's better go for it. You better go for it.
They brawl
Mesi
down the stretch.
One punch.
Both fighters will raise their arms now.
I thought Mesi won the fight. And it was a good fight.
And we'll see what the judges thought. Will this take some of the luster off of Joe Mesi's rising star, George?
Oh, not at all. He's proven. I remember the first time they put me in the garden with a 10-round fight. Peralta had me breathing and holding on. The crowd even booed me. When you get in the garden, it brings the best out of your opponents. It's not going to take any luster. I went on to be champion of the world.
Twice. The big right hands by Joe Mesi scored in the 10th round. Surely he and his corner hoping that those two massive rights were enough to win him the round, but again, Barrett was throwing more throughout the round. Harold, how'd you score the fight?
Okay, Jim, 6 rounds to 4, 95-93, baby Joe Mesi. Jim, I got to tell you, from 7 on through the end of the fight, Monte Barrett mugged him. I thought Monte clearly won the last 4 rounds. In the 10th round, he hurt him badly with about 30 seconds to go or so. So I thought Monte Barrett clearly won the 10th round. Monte made it real close. The problem was he ran out of rounds. If this were a 12-round fight, Monte Barrett could have won it, but I thought he just lost the first 6. Joe Mesi has enough points to win it.
Change one of those rounds on Harold's scorecard, and you've got a draw. 94-94. And once again, the 3 judges from New York State. Joe Dwyer. Johnson versus Montiel, a draw. That's not an overwhelmingly significant scorecard. Arthur Mercanti Sr. scored the first Ali Frazier fight the right way for Joe Frazier right here in this ring. And Tom Schreck. Okendo, TKO 3 eyes on. In other words, Schreck has never filed a scorecard as significant as the one he's just turned in here.
You know, it was a good fight, heavyweight fight. You don't see many of those.
You only see them when heavyweights are in the ring, huh?
Yeah, I mean, good fights. Heavyweights, one is generally on the canvas, or the other look like he just came in for the payday, but these guys both fought.
And both fighters scored clean knockdowns in the fight.
If it was a draw, I wouldn't cry.
Actually, Mesi was on the canvas one other time. It was ruled a push. Had referee Michael Ortega seen fit to call that a knockdown, Barrett might be the winner now. Certainly Mesi now looks the way a fighter should look. With that left eye, a gargoyle. Once again, we point out that both fighters scored knockdowns in the fight. In round number 5, it was Joe Mesi who landed that clean right hand that knocked Barrett into the ropes. The ropes kept him up. Ortega properly called it a knockdown. Then in round 7, Barrett reversed the damage as he caught Mesi with that left hook coming in and put Joe on the canvas for the first time in Mesi's 28-fight career. And now, Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the official scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards with a majority decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Tom Schreck scores about 94-94, even a draw. Overruled by judges Joe Dwyer, who scores about 94-93, and Arthur Mercanti, who scores about 95-93 in favor of the winner, and still undefeated, baby Joe Mesi.
A mixed reaction in the audience. Some approving and extremely happy with Mesi's victory. Some ridiculing the decision, thinking that Barrett had overhauled Mesi down the stretch. Final CompuBox numbers. Mesi landing more and landing at a higher connect percentage. Barrett throwing more, particularly in the later rounds. Power punch numbers. Mesi not overwhelmingly accurate, but with his power punches. Neither, for that matter, was Barrett. Very similar there in what was statistically an even fight. And probably looked like a very even fight to spectators here. Mesi winning the first half, Barrett winning the second. Let's go to Larry Merchant with the winner, Baby Joe Mesi.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Joe. Was your debut at the Garden a little tougher than you anticipated?
Not as tougher than I anticipated, because Monte is a slick, evasive type fighter. Normally, I like when they come to you, and he doesn't really do that. Made me work for it. And he's experienced, more experienced than I am, and pretty slick, so it caused a little trouble.
The first time you've been knocked down in a fight? First time, is this the first time you've got a fighter's mouse over your eye? You look like you've been in a fight for the first time.
I've had mouses before. I've never been knocked down before, but first time for everything. I'm glad that it happened, and I learned from it. I got hit with something I didn't see. I got to learn to concentrate a little more. My legs were a little weary towards the end, but otherwise my conditioning was okay.
Your legs were weary. Why? Because you've been punched more than you're used to being punched, or because you haven't gone the distance?
Probably because I haven't gone the distance. In the gym, you do 12, 15 rounds. It's different from being in the ring here. Monte's slick. He's very evasive. He moves a lot. And when I'm coming towards someone, it was a little difficult. But my wind was good.
Are you saying that you think, having narrowly escaped here with your life, that it's a good experience as you move forward?
I hate to say it, but I needed it. I need to go the distance. It's, I need to get knocked down, kind of set you straight a little bit. I learned a lot from this, and you'll see me better next time.
Do you think that in any way this slows down the Mesi Express?
No, I don't think so. In fact, I learned from it. I'm a pretty knowledgeable fighter, and I will learn a lot from this. We'll keep the same pace you've been going.
Thank you very much again. Congratulations, Joe.
Got it. Tyler,
Jim?
baby.
All right, thanks very much. So Joe Mesi remains unbeaten, 28 wins, no losses. George, you said at the top of the show you were looking for heavyweights who could